Hi, my name is Bedolla, and I will be giving a presentation on organizational design, structure, and change within United States Special Operations Command in regards to recruiting and retention. History of the organization: it was formally established at MacDill Air Force Base in Florida, April 1987, but it has its roots that predate that all the way back to World War II with the Office of Special Service and its connections to the effort during World War II and beyond. The two major issues would be retention and recruiting. The three broader aspects I would like to talk about would be undermanning, burnout, and recruitment. Undermanning itself, and how I illustrated here on the slide, would be how organizations are working with very little and trying to do a lot. Missions overseas are with 70 plus countries, and they're barely able to fill them. I was a part of this when this was going on, and it is a very difficult strain on every service member. Burnout in relation to undermanning, service members are having to deploy more often, even though policy states that it is a 1-to-3 ratio. So if you're gone for 6 months, you're supposed to be gone. You're supposed to be back for 1.5 years, and that has been difficult to maintain, even though it was established recently. And recruitment in itself, and the premise of all of this, which involves retention as well. Recruitment numbers for the Department of Defense, in this case, in the quote that I have, is the U.S. Army have fallen short by 25%, which has been unprecedented and hasn't been seen since a very long time. I would say around Vietnam was the last time we've had this issue this big. Organizational structure, design, and culture, and influence and organizational effectiveness. The two key points I'd like to talk about would be communication. Operation Eagle Claw, in it itself, it was one of the biggest catastrophic failures we've had in modern time in relation to communication. Something that is vital to organizations in themselves. If we want to instill change, it has to be something that has to be the pillar of everything. Now, SOCOM in itself does a great job at communication, but because of its mission set, it has a hard time talking in between each organization. So it might talk up and down, but side to side is the issue. Now, evolution, US SOCOM has been known for being able to evolve rapidly since it has such a dynamic problem set. It can be seen from what happened from Operation Eagle Claw and forward, how it rapidly adapted into implementing specialized command structures to be able to mitigate further issues like this. One of the biggest things about SOCOM is individualism. The amount and the quality of personnel that you're going to receive in an organization like this is starkly different from conventional forces. They're normally highly educated and very self-driven. And in that, it's a good and a bad. Individualism comes in where service members are overqualified and they don't really have an incentive to stay in anymore. And so they usually try to go for better opportunities. Now, the counterculture part of this that I'd want to bring up, special operators, individuals that work for SOCOM have solemnly been known for being your conventional soldier. They are the most professional people you could find, but at the same time, they don't look the part. And it creates an interesting dynamic in between conventional forces and what is SOCOM, which is honestly a small portion of the DoD, of Department of Defense. This is the organizational structure. SOCOM stands at the top. On the right, you'll see the Theater Special Operations Commands that are aligned by different parts of the world. And on the left, you're going to see the functional commands, which are like the Marine Corps, Air Force, Navy, and Army. And at the very bottom, the Joint Special Operations Command that was mentioned before. And this is how the SOCOM itself is structured. Very hierarchical, very linear, very straightforward. Creating urgency. I will start by saying the plan for necessary improvements starts with creating urgency, and that cannot be better said than in 2022 with the miss of the recruitment goals. These recruitment goals for the conventional forces are going to directly impact the force structure of special operations. Forming a powerful guiding coalition, it is imperative that we choose better organizations to be able to lead this front. Choosing amongst ourselves is not good enough anymore. And just choosing underqualified personnel or non-cohesive teams is an issue. Now, the rest of it would be creating a vision. It is imperative that we create a clear vision to be able to mitigate these shortfalls in recruitment and retention. Now, communicating the vision is the important part. As mentioned before, communication has been an issue with organizations that belong to SOCOM, mainly because top down, it will come down and it'll be fine, but it can be misconstrued from left to right. And next one would be empowering others to act on the vision. Now, the vision will come down from the top, from our most high-ranking general down to the lowest person, but having them actually take ownership of this is the issue. So it's part of creating a culture. It is imperative that everybody owns this. Planning for and creating short-term goals or wins. This is the most important part of this to me, because you can create a vision that's 10 years ahead, but if a service member is only going to be in an organization for 3 years, they're not going to feel any ownership on it. Consolidating improvements and producing still more change. This is one that it's really interesting, because after every win and reevaluating everything is important. You cannot go on after every operation or every campaign, marketing campaign, and just think that because you did it, you're good, and it's just check the block. No, everything needs to be reevaluated, and it's important to do so. Now, last one, institutionalizing new approaches. It is imperative that we don't just do one-time go and that's it. We need to repeat this. We need to be able to make this, solidify this into the organization. Resistance to change, group inertia, bandwagon, and understanding that like you're part of an organization, and if you're all wrong, it's most likely that they're going to stay wrong if they don't have somebody at the forefront pushing for change. Threat and expertise. Some people are part of the old group and they are reluctant to change, and it's understandable. I could say that I'm part of that in some aspects, but it is imperative to have an open mind. Top management support. It is important to understand that we might own it at the bottom of the organization or at the middle, but if the top doesn't really understand it and put importance to it, it's not going to go anywhere. Foster open communication. Understand that, I mentioned this before, communication is vital. Understanding that communication must go up and down, left to right. It is vital to the success of our efforts. Lessons learned. As a leader, I've understood that owning the love that I have for this organization, for SOCOM, and how the opportunities that it offers, being able to illustrate this to people that don't understand it. It is the best experience I've ever had with having to work around people that wanted to be there. And I'll leave you with a quote from General McChrystal. If you have any questions, feel free to email me or call me. I'm more than happy to talk you through the organization that I just came from and that I hope to go back to, which is United States Special Operations Command.